Hello students, today we will see regarding the various degradation pathways of your drug. So degradation pathway is nothing but the way by which your drug is getting degraded or its structure is getting breakdown. So there are the various degradation pathways are available. So solulysis, hydrolysis, oxidation, reduction as well as photolysis are the typical examples of various degradation pathways. So first pathway is the solulysis. Solulysis is nothing but the decomposition or the degradation of the drug in the presence of solvent. When your drug is dissolved into the solvent, that solvent itself is acting on the drug structure as a nucleophile and attacking the electropositive centers of the drug molecules. The most common solulysis reaction encountered in the pharmaceuticals are labile carbonyl compounds like esters, lactones as well as the lactams. Usually the solvent is we are using as a water, but along with the water some co-solvent like ethyl alcohol, polyethylene glycol can also causes the solulysis of your drug. This solulysis can be avoided. First of all, the manufacturer must have the idea about the solvent which is acting on your drug. So we can avoid that solvent and we can choose the another solvent for the dissolution purpose of your drug. Now the second pathway is the oxidation. Oxidation is usually mediated by the atmospheric oxygen, which is referred as the attooxidation. Generally inside the oxidation there is a removal of or the addition of electropositive atom as well as radical or an electron in the electronegative drug moiety. Generally, oxidation reaction can be catalyzed by the oxygen as well as presence of heavy metals as well as light, which can lead to the free radical formation. So this causes the oxidation. Generally, aldehydes, alcohols, phenols, alkaloids and unsaturated fats as well as oils are very much susceptible for the oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction can be avoided by addition of antioxidant such as EDTA as well as we can avoid the exposure of your drug product with the environmental conditions. Next pathway is the dehydration. The dehydration is nothing but the elimination of water molecules from the drug structure. So in physical dehydration process, water removal does not create new bonds but often changes the crystalline structure of the drug. Since it is possible that anhydrous compounds may have the different dissolution rates, dehydration reaction involves the crystallization. It affects on the potentially absorption rate of the dosage form. So this dehydration can be avoided by maintaining the required condition of water inside the drug product. Next pathway is the optical isomerization. Optical isomerization is nothing but the change in the optical activity of your drug which results in the changes in the biological activity of your drug. The racemization is the example or the main type of the optical isomerization which affect the drug molecules. In the racemization, when the optically active form of the drug is gets converted into the enantiomer, it is called as the racemization. Racemization process continues until the 50% or the half part of the original drug has been get converted into its enantiomer till the racemization takes place. So in most cases the enantiomer has less therapeutic effect than the original drug. The next pathway is the photolysis. Photolysis is the attack of light on the particular light sensitive drugs, or we can also say photolysis can be occurred into the excipients also. Generally during the photolysis the drug is chemically get degraded because of the exposure with the light as well as the room light as well as the sunlight. So ultraviolet light can also causes photolysis and it can damage the drug structure, and degradation of drug is depending on the wavelength of the light. Shorter the wavelength can cause the more damage than the longer wavelength. The photosensitizer or the photosensitive material is the drug or the excipient molecules that absorb the light energy by the two ways. The light energy absorbed by the drug achieves the activation energy, or the light exposed to your drug is absorbed by your drug molecule and it will pass to the another molecule. So by any two ways your drug will get degraded. So here photolysis can be avoided by the avoiding the exposure of light to your drug particle or to your dosage form. Photolysis may be followed by the thermal reaction, since light energy may be converted into the heat energy. However, the photolytic reaction may produce a catalyst for the thermal reaction with the removal of light thermal reaction process. Several photolytic reactions include the, or because of the photolysis, generally decomposition of chloromazine as well as hydrochloride as well as phenothiazine may be occurred. Generally, darkening of the morphine and coding is an example of your photolysis. So these are your pathways. Today we see why stability now. Generally, after the studying the degradation pathways, so we will get the idea about the by which way your drug is getting degraded. So photolysis, oxidation, reduction, dehydration. So these all are the pathways by which your drug is getting degraded. And some other factors are there. They can increase the speed of that degradation, like temperature, humidity as well as the light. Now, generally after the taking the total data of your drug, we are going for the checking the stability of your drug. First of all, what is meant by the stability? Stability is nothing but the shelf life of your drug. It means from manufacturing date to the expiry date, the span is called as the stability of your drug. To check how many days or after how many years your drug is getting degraded or it will be get expired up to the 10%. So to find out that span is called as to find out the stability of your drug. And there are several methods by which we can find out that period. So that is called as the stability testing. So stability testing is nothing but to find out the shelf life of your drug. Generally, why we are carrying out this stability? Because to generate the useful information on how environmental factors like temperature, humidity, light influence on the quality of drug products over the time. So by this way we can find out the impact of these factors on your drug, as well as by this way we can establish the how the physical, chemical as well as microbiological changes are occurred inside your drug. When we are studying the stability data of your drug or stability conditions of your drug, then we can get the idea that by which conditions we can avoid the or we can extend the life of your drug. So we can recommend particular storage condition as well as reset points as well as shelf of drug by this way. The significant changes that may occur after the exposure of your drug to the versatile conditions. When we are exposing your drug to the higher temperature, to the higher humidity as well as higher light, so degradation speeds will get exceed, and due to that some changes will be occurred. So that is nothing but the sign of instability of your drug. So what kind of changes will be occurred? Physical changes, chemical changes as well as the microbial changes may be occurred because of the exposure to the temperature, humidity as well as the light. Now which factors are generally influence on the drug stability? Generally temperature, thermal effects as well as presence of heat and moisture, relative humidity, light, radiation energy, changes in the pH, presence of reacting solvents, order of reaction, microorganisms, chemical nature of the drug as well as the excipient, and ionic strength, general acid-base catalysis, and presence of trace metal, heavy metal like oxygen and oxidizing agents. Generally these all are factors affect on the stability of drug, or simply this factor can increase the speed of degradation pathway. Now, new drug stability analysis. Now, how your stability of the drug will be shaped. Generally, under the pre-formulation stability studies, the first quantitative assessment of chemical stability of new drug is carried out, and in this generally we have to carry out by three ways. First one is the stability study of your new drug in the toxicology formulation. Second stability study is carried out by using the in solution state, and third stability study of drug is carried out into the solid state. So these are the three methods by which we can find out the stability of your drug in three different forms under the typical conditions for handling, formulation, storage and administration of the drug. Stability study of the drug into the toxicological formulation. So whenever we are carrying out this study, so first objective is that it should be carried out for the stability and homogeneity purpose. A new drug or the toxicological preparation of the drug is administered to the animal through the oral route. When we want to administer the solution of your drug for the toxicological purpose, generally we have to prepare its solution, or we can administer it to the animal to find out its toxicological impact. So generally we used to mix the drug with the feed, and we can prepare the solution of that drug, as well as we can prepare the suspension of that drug in the aqueous vehicle. So these three ways we can prepare your drug dose for the administration purpose. So generally by using the toxicological formulation study, we can get the idea about whether your drug dose is toxic to the animals or not, or we will get the one quantity of that drug which is having the toxicity. So below that level we can use that drug further for the animal as well as the human being purpose. So to find out the toxical dose or the quantity of that drug, we are carrying out this stability study. So whenever we are mixing your drug with the feed for feeding to the animals, generally feed contains water, vitamins, minerals, enzymes as well as different functional groups. Generally, the content of the feed can reduce the stability of new drug. So, the stability study should be carried out in the fresh feed as well as at the laboratory temperature as well as other conditions. So, by this way also we can study your drug impact on the animals. The next way is regarding the preparation of its solution or the suspension. Sometimes your drug is not having the solubility in your selected solvent, then you can prepare the suspension. The chemical stability at the different temperature and pH should be checked when we are preparing the solution of your drug or suspension of your drug. For the suspension, the dispensability should be checked by the occasionally checking. Sometimes when you are preparing the suspension, the drug particles may have the larger size, then it may not be dispensed properly. So for that purpose, we should check its dispensability, or sometimes drug particles may settle at the bottom or may float at the upper side. So for that the drug dose will not be correct. So to insert the correct dose, the suspension should be checked occasionally. Generally, solution stability is carried out for what purpose? To check the ability of your drug to remain stable inside the solution. Generally, the decomposition of drug occurs through the hydrolysis, oxidation as well as the photolysis, as we have seen in the previous slides. So hydrolysis is nothing but your attack of the water molecule. Okay. So anesthetics as well as vitamins etc. are prone for the hydrolysis. Here is the example of ester hydrolysis as well as the amide hydrolysis, which can cause the reaction of your drug with the water molecules and which can affect on the drug structure. The oxidation is also possible regarding your drug. So at oxidation may takes place. So oxidation is used to evaluate the stability of pharmaceutical preparation. the oxygen sensitivity is measured by bubbling air through the compound as well as by adding the hydrogen peroxide into the drug solution to cause the oxidation. Then photolysis, it is also another way which can act on the drug and it can cause the degradation of the drug. Generally, it is carried out by exposing your light with the photolysis, and we will check whether your drug is having the ability to cause the photolysis or not. Then, in case of solution stability, generally we used to go for the identification of conditions necessary to form a stable solution. The stability of new drugs may depend on like effect of some factors: pH, ionic strength, co-solvents, oxygen, temperature as well as the light. Because when we are preparing the solution of new drug, so in the solution state some factors may affect on its stability, which are pH, light, ionic strength of the solvent as well as the temperature, oxygen and co-solvent. They may act on the drug structure when it is dissolved inside the solvent. Generally, pH stability is carried out to confirm the decay at the extreme pH as well as the temperature. So when we are preparing the solution, we can keep it at the different pH at the extreme pH from 1 to 7 or 1 to 12 to check its stability at the different pH. 3 stability studies are carried out at the following conditions like 0.1 normal HCl solution, water as well as 0.1 normal NaS solution at the 90 degree centigrade. These experiments are intentionally done to confirm the assay specifically for the maximum rates of degradation. Suppose we are preparing the solution of the drug for injecting purpose or for the parenteral purpose. Then the pH stability study is carried out at the constant ionic strength that is the compatible with the body fluid, because there is a compulsion that we have to maintain the required ionic strength of your solution, because when we are injecting into the systemic circulation, then its ionic strength should match with your blood. So that's why for that purpose, when we are preparing the solution of your drug and it is intended for the parenteral purpose, then ionic strength should be made constant. Generally, aqueous buffers are used to produce the solution with the wide range of pH values, but with the constant level of drug concentration, co-solvent as well as the ionic strength. All the rate of constant at the single temperature are then plotted as a function of pH. Now, what is the ionic strength? Ionic strength for any buffer solution calculated by the formula. So, here formula is given: molar concentration of the ion as well as valency of that ion. By using this, we can find out the ionic strength of that solvent in which you are going to be dissolve your drug, as well as co-solvents. Some drugs are not sufficiently soluble to get the concentration of analytical sensitivity. So in those cases, co-solvents may be used. However, presence of co-solvents will influence the rate of constant. Once the stability solutions are prepared, store it into the airtight flame-sealed ampoules at different conditions. Generally, when we are testing your drug stability into the solution, so for the parenteral purpose, we have to keep them into the ampoules at the different conditions, as well as we have to check the impact of the glass color also. So some solutions we can keep into the clear glass ampoules, transparent ampoules below the boiling point of co-solvent as well as constant temperature, as well as some samples of the solution we can keep at amber color or the yellow green color bottles, as well as green color bottles ampoules can be used to check the light sensitivity test. Third, at the different temperatures also we can keep for calculation of the energy of activation. As a control sample in cardboard package or the wrapped in the aluminum foil also we can keep. So ampoules with excess oxygen also we can keep. With the antioxidant also we can keep. Like organic and inorganic antioxidant we can use, and we can keep the same sample. It means when we are trying to test your drug solution for the parental purpose, so nearby 7 ways we have to check the stability of your drug into the different conditions. Now the next case is the solid state stability. When any drug manufacturer want to prepare the solid dosage form, then its solid state stability should be checked. So objective is the identification of stable storage conditions for drug into the solid state, as well as identification of compatible excipients for a formulation. It means when we are preparing the solid dosage form, then while preparing solid dosage form, we are mixing your drug molecule with the various excipients. In that case, that excipient should not interact with your drug. So what kind of excipients are getting interacted with your drug, that should be checked. So first objective is that we will check the compatibility of your drug with the excipients, and another thing is that which conditions will increase the shelf life of your drug, because when you are preparing the solid dosage form like tablet, capsule, powder, then we need to keep into the specific conditions. If there is required, then only we have to maintain that condition. So by this way we can find out the various conditions in which we can store your dosage form, or we should store your dosage form to avoid any instability problem. So by using this solid state stability, we will get the idea about the storage conditions as well as the compatibility of your drug with the various excipients. To determine the mechanism of degradation, generally we can use the thin layer chromatography, fluorescence, ultraviolet light, visible spectroscopy can be used, as well as to study the polymorphic changes occurred into the solid dosage form. DST IR spectroscopy is required. To study the surface discoloration due to the oxidation or reaction with the excipient, the surface reflectance equipment can be used. So here, to determine the various changes occurred into your solid dosage form, we have to take the help of various techniques. Okay. For the determination of solid state stability into the methodology, so first of all we have to place the weighed known amount of drug sample in the open screw cap vials up to the well which. Whatever the drug is under your pre-formulation study, so take the sample of the drug weight and then note down its accurate weight and keep into the different vials for the 12 weeks, and that vial should be open, because when it is open it may expose to the environmental conditions like humidity as well as light as well as the various temperatures. Then we will get the idea that any one factors may cause the degradation. Then another samples we have to keep, that 5 to 10 mg of drug we have to take, and HPLC analysis we have to carry out. Under this, qualitative as well as quantitative evaluation we have to carry out. So after 12 weeks you can take the results of your drug after the analysis. Then you will get the idea that is there any changes in occurred into the weight also. 10 to 50 mg of the drug we can take for the DSC study, for the IR study, to find out that any polymorphs are developed or not, or to find out its polymorphic analysis. 2 mg of drug can be used to study the FTIR for the changes in the drug structure. So by this way we can find out the purity of your drug. After that we have to keep your drug into the sealed vial also. Okay. So when we are keeping your drug particles or the solid drug into the sealed vial of 25 ml capacity, there is chances that some reactions may be occurred. Drug and oxygen for oxidation decay detection purpose, then drug and nitrogen, then after the fixed exposure time, removal of samples and test for the chemical stability, polymorphic changes as well as the decoloration. While storing of these samples, generally we have to administer the oxygen as well as the nitrogen into that vial. So to find out the effect of oxygen onto the drug as well as effect of nitrogen with the drug. When the results are obtained after the keeping the samples, then the decay process may be analyzed by the zero order or first order kinetics for the each temperature samples. Result of samples exposed to the oxygen, exposed to the light and humidity may suggest the need of follow-up of study at 3 levels or more levels. The Arrhenius plot may be constructed. It may extrapolated to USC conditions and prediction of the shelf life. Then next case is the compatibility. Compatibility tests play an important role into the pre-formulation studies of oral dosage form. Problems arises because of the interaction with the other drug substances and with the preservatives, stabilizers, dyes, especially coloring agents as well as the flavors. It is important for the formulator of a new drug substance to know with which excipient it is suitable. So by the compatibility study, we will get the idea that in which ingredient your drug can be added and it will be have the safe. Generally, to study the compatibility of your drug, we used to mix your drug with the excipient and we used to add that sample or the mixture into the glass ampoules and into the dry state we have to keep it for longer period, and into the one sample or the mixture we have to add the little bit amount of water. So by this way, after keeping it for the longer period at 50 degrees centigrade, we can see the effect of that excipients on the drug structure. In emulsion, the studies include measuring the critical micelle concentration of the formulation for the oral use preparations. Compatibility of the ingredients like alcohol, glycerin, syrup, sucrose, buffers as well as preservatives has been carried out. Then after that, checking the stability of your drug into the solid state, into the liquid state as well as with the different temperature in the different pH. So we will get the idea that at which temperature conditions and at which state form like liquid state or solid state your drug is having the good stability. So after getting the all data, we can get the idea or we can recommend the final dosage from your drug. After completion of pre-formulation study, the comprehensive report can be prepared. The problems of drug molecules can be highlighted as well as the report can be concluded with the recommendation for first phase of formulation. And these reports are important for the preparation of regulatory documents. See here, we have finished your reformulation. So generally, after studying your reformulation, we can get the total data of your drug and we can incorporate your drug into the various suitable dosage form in which it will have a good stability or very much longer life without any impact on its structure. So this is your reformulation. Thank you very much.